And I remember Monday I come from school and I just collapse. And I get a seizure.
What?
Like kifafa. Grief.
This is going to be an amazing CTA. The unveiling of mercy. Hey, Joki, Joroge, Mwongela.
Yes.
There's something that I love that Aizo has brought up in our break. And he said, you know what your dad did was different. First of all, he told us you are rubbing. You are not doing the best in school. Yeah, you are the best from the bottom.
Yeah.
But then also, let's be honest, you're a woman, you're a lady, you're a girl. It's not what is normal for a father of that generation to do. Would be one, focus on the boy.
Yes.
Who is the firstborn boy?
Yes.
And then also focus on the one who is doing well.
Yes.
And bring them in. To be the one counting money.
It's
not
true.
The one who's failing.
It's true.
What are your thoughts on that?
And it's amazing that Aizo picked that because my brother and sister were top 3. They were star students. So my thought on that is, I think as parents, we need to be intentional. Because you see, this thing that my dad did with me, with regards to indicting me and calling me out, there's something he had seen. There's something he had seen. So if you rationalize and say, okay, let me go with the one who's number 1 and 2, there's a different calling for them. And they're very successful in their own space. But then for this one, I'm calling her into money because God has called her into the ministry of money, of wealth.
Ministry of wealth?
Yes, into the ministry of wealth.
That's so powerful.
Yeah. And remember, we were talking about the puzzle coming together. Until now, I hadn't even seen it that way. It was that ministry, that thing that, remember, the callings and the gifts of God are irrevocable and without repentance. So this is a calling that God has already given you. Then your parent sees and they can't understand. But also as parents, we need to stop being carnal, because my dad was not carnal. Because carnally, should have gone for my brother to count the money. Should have gone for my brother and sister who are acing in their class. And they were famous. Football, dance, performance, beauty, academically, star students.
And you're the middleborn. So it's also a good reason to forget you.
It is a good reason.
I hear a lot of people say, I'm the middleborn, I was the one who was forgotten.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
He took a special interest and called out that which was in you that probably even you didn't even know. I mean, you didn't even know. You're young. You're talking about him holding your hand became your first fundraising, capital raising. And indeed it was in you because you excelled in the country. Even at that young an early age. Okay. Story, I'm excited. Now you want to know the future. Class 4. Let's continue then.
Hey, class 4 is, so class 4 is when I turned 10. Now I've moved to Baraka.
So this is 94?
This is 1994.
Okay.
Nice, I moved with the ages. Class 1, 91, 94, class 4. Class 4, something shattering happened. Remember World Cup? It was around World Cup. I'd gone to school. Actually, before that, a day in June, I don't recall when, my parents went to Shags to renew their vows.
Wow.
On a Saturday, Sunday. So we all go to Shags Gatondo, we celebrate. It's a fantastic day. Monday, my dad doesn't go to work. He wasn't feeling too well. He doesn't go to work. I go to school. I come back from school, dad is home. And he makes me my afternoon tea. My small sister was in nursery. My other siblings had now gone to boarding. My sister had gone to boarding. My brother had gone to boarding. My eldest sister who was living with us had gotten married. See, they're much, much older. And all the others are much older, Because my mom and dad's, their age gap is also about 10 years. World Cup, Monday, I leave my dad watching football. Richie woke up in the middle of the night. There was commotion in the house. And the commotion was my mom's younger brother used to live with us at that particular time. I think he'd either just finished high school, so he was living with us, looking for work, working with my parents. And the next thing I see is my dad being carried, not feeling well, taken to Mater Hospital. That's Monday. Tuesday morning, I'm like, yeah, are we not going to school? No one has woken us up to go to school. So mom comes back with women, her eyes are red. And my dad was gone.
What?
I know.
What? So what happened?
No goodbyes.
What? Okay, that's not where I thought you were going in this story. In fact, I thought you were going to tell me your dad is still alive.
No.
Oh, okay. Wow. So what? Go on with the story. And I'm sorry.
So for me, woof, that was a redefining moment in my life.
Wow.
Don't be heartbroken. All things work together for good.
Yeah, it is. It's just that I have felt a tiny bit of what you felt at that time. Because right now we've just been speaking about this guy who is shaping everything. Even we've been laughing over the break. We've been saying how amazing your dad is. I saw us asked a question. This, that. Even how we've come back into the conversation is, hey, why did you know your dad shouldn't have been, you know? So this is, in fact, one of the things I was going to tell you is, hey, you had a good life. This story of yours has nothing like it.
I'm telling you.
So this is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody was expecting this. Nobody.
Can I ask what happened to him? What do they say?
They say it's pulmonary, I think hypertension. You know, it's one of those things as a child nobody explains to you.
Oh my God.
Two, I think also from an African setting, I've really learned a lot from that experience. Nobody told us that our dad was dead.
What?
Yes, nobody told us. I'm just guessing. So I'm telling my small sister, oh, yesterday I saw daddy being taken. My uncle is like, yeah? So I'm telling her, maybe we'll go see him, we'll eat chips. See, it's a fun trip. Like every time we leave the house, cheap sausage and some juice. That was the deal with dad, yeah? You have to eat out. In my mind. But then I've seen mom coming. She doesn't look good. People are holding her. Her eyes are red. So I'm like, okay. But nobody's telling me anything.
And your dad used to go for days and then comes back because of the bills?
Yes.
Did he?
Yes. He used to go for days and come back.
Okay.
Yeah. So, boom.
You said nobody sat you down and told you dad is no longer coming into this.
Yeah. Because there was so much going on. It was such a shock to everyone.
Wow.
It was like breaking news. Saturday we were in Shags renewing their vows. Monday night, they get to Mater Hospital, the man doesn't make it. Our neighbor, right next door, was a doctor, a nurse at Mater. So it's not for not having people with the right things. No. So for me, Richie, let me tell you, as a child, there's also some innocence and purity that you have. The confirmation, so I'm beginning to guess things are not right. The confirmation was seeing dad's picture in the obituary section of Nation newspaper. And because of innocence, I was now happy because I could see our names on the paper. Nothing has reconciled.
What?
That dad is dead.
You know, you're not young. You're 10.
Yes.
10 is not, I mean, in retrospect now, and I have a child who's almost 10. 10 is young, but 10 can be communicated to. 10 is not 4.
Yeah. I think, you know, back then, and I also hear people saying, they'll say it in vernacular or Kiswahili, jipe nguvu, be strong. Those are some of the things that people at that particular time, this is 1994, a 10-year-old was a child. So So a 10-year-old, right now we involve our children. We make decisions. Where are we going? What do you think about this? Yes, you could just get into the car and we're going, right? So there wasn't, they did what they thought was best. And also because of how fast this thing has happened, it was such a shock to many people. Okay. My mom is not even in the right frame of mind.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Well, I did ask what your mom does. Your mom would support your dad.
Yes, my mom.
And also, let me just say, typically at that time, a lot of mothers were housewives.
Yes. So my mom was never a housewife. My mom actually used to run the business.
Oh, who?
She was like COO. Like COO. Yes. And she was the finance person. She's really good with numbers. Very well put together lady. So she used to manage the operations of the business. My dad was more of the outgoing person, the salesperson, employee relations. So that was a shock.
So your mom woke up every day to go to work?
Yes, my mom actually went to work to open. So
your dad was
my dad was CEO moves. Yeah.
Oh man, this is hard.
It was hard. But I'm telling you, the grace, our neighbors, just so from the time this thing happens, people are beginning to come home, our neighbors take us in. So our house, the next door, the Gaturus, God bless you, they took us in, me and my small sister, to shield us from, now there are so many people at home, eh? You know what happens with matangas. So we went and lived with them. And for us, there was innocence. Like to me, there was a lot of innocence around that time, eh? It was fun. Because people will come, what do you want? Remember goody goody? Goody goody was the thing. So I had a stash of goody goodies, Ribenas. Yeah. So for me, it was a happy place.
I get it.
I was numb.
Wow.
My brother is in boarding. Kwanza my brother, he was doing his mock exams. The one for index number to sit for his class 8.
So don't tell him.
So don't tell him. Don't tell him. See, they're doing the best thing.
That they know.
That they know at that particular time.
Wow.
So we buried Dad. I remember the funeral home. Amazing casket. I think now they carried me to see his body. And now tears fell on the glass. Because now it's like it dawned on me.
He's gone.
He's gone. Wait a minute. This thing wasn't like fun. This last week wasn't just fun. This thing is a reality. It dawned on me. Like I think when I look through the funeral album, I'm in one picture because I disappeared in the coffee. You are so shocked, Richie. Let me give you a minute.
No, it is, I don't know why this one is hitting me, like honestly.
Yeah.
So when it says, no, don't give me a minute, let's just keep going on.
Yeah.
So when it says you disappeared in it, that's the reality of what has happened started hitting you. Yes,
it hit me on the day of the funeral. I remember it was a Thursday. So this nice hearse, I can now, it's like I'm beginning to see all these things during church because me and my sister are small. We're being taken out of service. There's someone attending to us. So we are in and out. But then I'm seeing so many relatives. All these people used to come to our house for Christmas because my dad is the one who's throwing parties. And parties ni nyama choma na taska.
Yes,
it's a good party. It's a good party. If you know George, it was a good party. My dad was such the life of the party.
I say what comes before part B.
Yes.
Party!
Yeah. Yeah. So, now that day, I remember actually the part for throwing the dust, dust goes back to dust. I had disappeared. They actually had to stop to look for me. So they looked for me. I came. So it's the whole family. You see all my sisters, my elder sisters, yeah?
Yes.
My relatives are there. My brother wasn't involved, by the way, because of this mock thing.
What?
Yeah.
So he hasn't been told as well?
No.
Wow. I don't even want to have that conversation.
Yes, that's his story.
Yeah, that is insane.
That is.
So he comes back to find dad died. We buried him.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell you because of mocks.
We couldn't tell you because of all these things. Like the thing happened too fast. So now after we come back to Nairobi, Friday, Saturday, I actually remember my friends from Baraka came, they sang during the Mashakaya period. And that time I really cried because I hadn't cried. Now you see, I'm beginning to see small people like me and they've come to console with me. That really touched me. Yeah? So fast forward, after the funeral, my friend.
Don't say what I think you're about to say.
That is when life begins. People have gone. People left. You're now left, you come back home. Watu wa boarding wamerudi shule. Now it's me, mom, sister. Some relatives have remained to stay with us. And I remember Monday I come from school and I just collapse. And I get a seizure.
What?
Like kifafa. Grief.
Oh, man. It starts.
It starts. But it also ends. It didn't last.
Oh, that's...
So I'm taken to hospital that week. I'm home. But then now I'm actually beginning to feel like my heart has been ripped open. Remember, all this time I've been talking a lot about my dad.
You have?
My dad, we're going to the salon together. We're going to his business together. He's coming home. He'll come home during Christmas time. They'll be very busy at Uhuru Market because our culture back then was Ngoza Christmas.
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
You buy clothes for Christmas as gifts to your children, your parents in shags. So that season was super, super busy.
Yes, it's
so
lucrative.
He'll come with bales and all of us will sit and do some work. Now all these things are beginning to dawn on us that actually dad is gone. What is happening with my mom is a different story. Because now she's widowed at 35.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when I see you now. So the picture, even that as you talk about your mom, the picture I have is an older person.
No.
But but this is when you're young.
Yes.
So now, as somebody who's already past 35,
yes,
I'm like, she's widowed at this young age.
Yes, at such a young age. I'm telling you, when I got to 35, I actually cried.
Wow.
Because I was 10. I thought she was old.
That's right.
But then I'm like, 35, you're still a child. You still need your husband.
Yep.
Your husband is the provider. He's just, and back then, those men were like Kikuyu men's wakiongea, that's it, yeah?
Yep.
So they will speak and it is settled.
Wow.
Yani, we really thank God for the far he has brought us, and also mom. Yeah. Because you can't imagine.
I want to ask this, and you don't, and I give you have the in CTA. You don't have to answer the questions.
Yeah.
I only want to talk about what the guests want to talk about. A successful man who's doing well business-wise, when he leaves, in-laws may be known. The common narrative out there is, let's get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you guys?
Let me tell you, if there's one thing God has blessed my mom with is with wisdom. There are two things I've not had my mom doing in my presence till now. Speaking about other people in my presence.
Wow.
You know how I understand women sit and gossip?
Yes.
I've not had that in my presence. Gossiping from my mother, no. Our mom has shielded us and has let us be children. So really,
Whoa.
I can't...
So you have no idea,
I have no idea
if there was any fire or not.
But I believe there was fire. Now that I'm grown, and now that I think of things in hindsight, there must have been some fire here and there. But grace and wisdom was given that woman.
Wow.
Because she protected us. She protected us from what people said. She protected us from how we looked at people. And even now she tells us, even with relatives, you don't choose your relatives. These are your relatives. This is where your blessing is. So you go to your in Kikuyu, your big dad, and you ask for a blessing. It does not matter.
Wow.
God does not make a mistake.
That is wisdom.
Yes.
Galore.
Galore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So your dad's gone. This is 94.
Yes.
You're now, I feel like even this is a new chapter. Actually, I feel like this is the introduction of your mother into your story.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Now comes my relationship with my mom. Because now I'm looking at her.
So let me just say this. The mind is a powerful thing. I've on this seat, I've had the privilege, and I call it a privilege because it is definitely one, for people to share their stories.
Yeah.
And the passion with which you have shared your early life is so intense. The passion with which you have shared the narrative about your dad, it is so alive and real. It is locked and ingrained in, it's a proper photo movie in your mind and your heart that you don't want to lose.
No.
You know, you're sharing the way you've been sharing about your dad as a child. It's why you saw the shock hit me.
Yes.
It's because you're sharing it like I'm about to hear, oh, by the way, he's about to watch this CTA
Yes.
and enjoy. So that's powerful.
Yeah.
You've shown me the impact that a father can have at any age.
Absolutely. Especially those salon runs and back in the days.
Yeah.
And back in the days for my kind of father, Kikuyu,
Yes.
patriarch, it is, that man loved us well. He loved us well. He loved me so much and so dearly. But I was also named after his mother, Njoki.
Wow.
But we had a special bond, which I also carry for me and my sister, because my sister, by the time dad was dying, my sister was 5. So she was a baby.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Our father was a very good man. He loved us very, very much. Like, he will come home with a goodie at least once every so often. Yes, every so often. He was very, very intentional about his kids. He was so intentional. Like, my mom nowadays sees Alex doing some things with our kids, and he's like, that was your father. It is true. You actually marry men who look like your father. I'm like, really? Yeah, your dad will put you to bed. Your dad will come. If you come late, he will ask my mom. They've come late either from Dundos. He'll ask my mom, go find out whether the kids ate. I was like, they are asleep. Now later on, she'll tell me. It's like, he loved his children so much. He was such an intentional father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, let's continue with this narrative. And that's such an amazing tribute that you've given to your father.
Yes.
I know he's watching down and thinking,
Yeah.
I didn't do too badly.
Yes.
He's proud of you
Yeah.
and the rest of your siblings.
Thank you.
So this life-changing, earth-shattering moment happens.
Yeah.
But life must continue.
Yes, it must continue.
Do you leave Buru?
No.
Okay.
Thank God we don't live, because